You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions. They blocking your vision, but no, you can't listen. That shit is all fiction. Cause you...
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today, this is Simple Crypto. My name's Dan French. I'm your host. Also with my other host here, we have Brett Jenny. Brett's the crypto certified agent here in Las Vegas. I'm going to talk with Brett here. Brett, what's going on, buddy?
What's happening, Dan? How's your Thursday, man?
Everything's going well. I mean, listen, you know, we talk about crypto all the time. We talk about people asking questions and people wanting to know what's happening in the crypto world. Kind of explain what's happening this week.
Yeah, this week, you know, last week we kind of started out with the intro of everything, kind of like the philosophy behind Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and why I'm so much into it and why I think it's the future and all that good stuff. So now we're going to kind of break it down to more of what's going on in the market, what I'm seeing, kind of the feelers I have out there of what I'm receiving in the crypto space and all that good stuff. So what I was reading from some of the high-end traders, you know, and everything's subject because everybody has their different opinions. And you have to keep in mind that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is a market that's so new and so few percentage of people in the world use it that the more it gets adopted, it's really hard to compare one necessarily market to the next.
Right.
Because you can't do it like a stock. So like stocks, you can go back, like GE, you can go back 100 years. I mean, that's... You know, you can see the cycles and the ebb and flows of everything. So this is just kind of going off of the eyes that I'm seeing and having my feelers out there. And what I mean by that is I go to Twitter, which is where a lot of the crypto community or the crypto space hangs out. And on there, you see various different points of views, everyone's opinion of different coins and stuff like that. But that's where you kind of get a pulse of what's happening and what's going down because, you know, with the amount of volume that you see in certain subject and areas and stuff like that. So I would say this, one of the big things people are kind of talking about right now is the great reset with crypto. By that, I mean, is you take an overall view of everything's with the charts, it's looking like we're basically going back to that breaking point before Bitcoin went back down and then went back up.
Let's talk about the great reset. Okay,
Yep.
So I talk to a lot of people about why we see these big swings, right? You see the swing of, okay,
sure.
Last couple of years, it was just our bull market. Now it's turned into a bear market.
Yep.
Now everybody's thinking, why would somebody invest into crypto in today's world, you know?
Well, so here's the thing about the market, which is it was in up until the fall of 2020. Bitcoin was basically in a 3-year bear market. And then here's what Bitcoin does, okay? It stays in a bear market for 2 to 3.5 years. And then in a 6-month period, it goes from here to here. And then the new bear market starts to set in. And when that happens, the level of Bitcoin going down to only goes down to a certain level then, because you've got that much more adoption that's coming into play, right? So when they're talking about the great reset right now, what they're talking about is the levels right now of people holding is equal to about the amount of the last time that Bitcoin had a run up and then it came back down to like $29,000, $30,000, right? Remember that last year? After that, it went up to a record high even further to like 60. It was like 60,000 before, went down to like 29,000 and then went right back up to 64. And now it's been coming down since. And what they're saying is the levels of where things were at before it went right back up is the same as where it's at right now for holders. What that means is most of the people holding right now bought at $50,000. It's at $30,000. So that means that who's ever going to sell to take that loss has already sold. Does that make sense? So who's ever holding now, they've already taken enough of a loss where if they were going to sell, they would have already sold. So hold on. So you can look at that as one level as the people holders. So now here's what's going to be determined. In the next month or two, if Bitcoin goes down a little bit more and bottoms out a little bit more, what you're going to see is now you're going to see the people who bought at $30,000. Now, if it drops even further, we're going to see what those holders do. So we already know that the holders at 50,000 those have already shooken out who's going to sell. Who's ever holding is already going to hold. Now we're going to have a whole new level of that if it goes below 30,000. and who's going to shake out from that. Once that happens, who's ever left holding, we're at that new levels to basically propel upwards because you've got everyone who's going to sell that's already sold. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of people that just have come into their own of understanding a little bit more about crypto. You look at cryptocurrency today, and today cryptocurrency is one of the things that people always say, well, you don't have to be rich to invest into it. Now, I think they're looking at it as like a stock market, though, where you're looking at things where it's an overnight, over week type thing where you want to see huge gains and you got to invest in the right stock because there's so many cryptocurrencies out there.
That shouldn't be the way you're looking at the stock market either. I mean, should you be buying a stock saying I'm going to look at it as a 3 month or a 6 month?
Yeah, but they look at it as like inside trading, right? If you got the
they're looking for quick money,
right?
So that's what they're looking for. So you get what you get with that. Not to sound mean, but there's rewards that come with that, and there's not rewards.
So what's the difference between investing in something like this versus a 401k?
So this is HODL. I mean, if you want to look at the numbers, first of all, it's not a fair comparison in the sense that you're taking apples and oranges. So the sense is they're both financial instruments, cryptocurrency and stocks. They're both financial instruments. But stocks have been around so much more longer, all these regulations and all these things. You're talking about a 10-year market for cryptocurrency. So if you want to talk about those numbers, then cryptocurrency wins all day long. I mean, Bitcoin went from not even $1 to $60,000, even at $33,000 or $38,000 or $40,000 or whatever it is right now. Even at that, it went from $0 to $40,000 in 10 years. Name me a stock that's even came close to that in 100-year history.
Well, let's say this.
So,
what is your top 3 cryptocurrencies this week to invest in?
Well, what I would invest in would be the gaming tokens, okay? And when I say cryptocurrency, now keep in mind, people need to make this distinction, which is most cryptocurrency are tokens, okay? By that, I mean, if it's a cryptocurrency, it's its own blockchain, all right? So Litecoin is its own blockchain. Bitcoin is its own blockchain. Ethereum is its own blockchain. All these other coins that you see that people are trading or that can be used for whatever utilities are all based off of one of those blockchains. And there's a few other ones like Polygon and all that stuff. But point being is I'm talking about the tokens. So you want to use cryptocurrency? Fine. In terms of that, what's on the trading of like Binance or anything like that, or crypto.com, then yes, in that sense, it's going to be basically anything that I feel has to do with gaming. And why I say that is because what's big with gaming right now are NFTs and gaming. And that's where you're going to see the next huge development. These coins in cryptocurrency that came out 2 or 3 years ago that have gone up 1,500, 2,500%. It was because it was a niche or an area that needed to be serviced. Like one of them was Link. Link is an oracle that basically takes real world data and it connects it and puts it on blockchain. I use comparison to this. Remember when CDs first came out and everybody would take their blank tapes or their cassette tapes that they had of music, and you could actually pay. People had these services where they would burn your music onto your CD.
Yeah.
You're taking the old.
Remember Napster when they
you're taking the old and you're putting on the new. That's what Link does. It's an oracle. So ones like that had a utility purpose that you could use in real life and got patents and all these things. And those are the ones that went up 1,500, 2,500%. Why I'm saying that is because now kind of the next phase of what's big and what's going to be the up and coming development in this space is gaming, NFTs and gaming. And in a sense, it's kind of like this. Remember Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah.
It's like being able to go back to Super Mario Brothers and buy part of the game.
Yeah, you're buying space in the game.
Yeah, you're buying an actual segment or pixel or something like that in the space of the game, and that's what it is. So, listen, a lot of the video games right now are shitty, right? They're just shitty to play and they're just not very fun. And,
I think some of them are good. It's
they are, but you can see the beginnings of it, right? So that's why I'm saying it's like me going back to 1995 and saying, Brett, what do you think would be some good stocks? Well, Dan, I would say if you invested in companies that were in the internet, you would probably fare well. And that's kind of the same thing.
.com boom.
Like well, yes, and there's things that are going to filter themselves out. But, you know, that's what I would say.
That crypto's like the .com boom where everybody invested into it and there's a lot of things happening where a lot of confidence, but then now they're seeing that a lot of people are pulling their money out. Could crypto crash? Could it ever get to a point where it crashes and resets, like you said?
No, I don't think it'll ever crash, but do I think that most cryptocurrencies will not survive? Absolutely. In that sense, I very much do think it is like, because it's like any business. You've got to have the winners will survive and the losers won't. There's a lot of people with a lot of ideas right now, and a lot of these coins that you see on these exchanges aren't actual working products that are actually doing anything right now. Mm-hmm. They're just ideas.
Right.
So you're basically trading ideas.
I see.
You see what I'm saying? And what's going to survive is what has the best business plan, what serves the most utility, what has the best advertising. I mean, look at back when the .com started. Right. How many people do you hear now say, "Hey, Dan, what's the answer to that?" "I don't know. Why don't you Netscape it?"
Yeah.
You never hear that. It's Google that, right? But Netscape was even more prominent than Google at one point. But things have a way of taking even car companies. There's 3 major car companies now based in the United States. In the early 1900s, there were over 1,000 of them.
Wow.
So any market, you're at the beginning stages, they need to settle themselves out. So that's why you're going to have them, is a lot of them are trying to solve problems that don't necessarily exist right now, right? So ones like that Link that grew 1,500%, that went from 48 cents to $50 at one point, was because of the utility of it. It has real life use cases that are being used right now. They also went out and got patents for a bunch of things.
Right.
So they're not just ideas, they're real use case scenarios being played out right now as we speak. So the coins that I talk about with gaming are the same ones. They're actual coins being used right now that I think are integrated into the biggest platforms and the biggest platforms yet to come. You know, like anything. So do you want me to get specific or do you not?
Yes, I do. Let's get specific.
All right, let's get specific on this bad boy. Thetan Gem.
Okay. Why would somebody invest into Thetan Gem? I mean, what gives you...
So let me say this. The 2 ones that I have my money in right now are Thetan Gem and Defina Token. Sign for that is FINA, and Theta Gem is THG. Now, they're both huge tokens being used in the gaming NFT space right now. Those are probably the 2 most popular, biggest volume tokens being used right now. So that says to me that the market for that is endless of what could come out of that. And they're leading it right now, right? So with that being said, I started buying both of those about a month ago. And they're both down about 80%.
Wow. So that means if you invested, $1,000, it'd only be worth $200.
Yes.
Wow.
So you have to keep this in mind that, you know, so with that being said, now would be a great time to buy because they've gone down 20%.
Let's say this. So the Great Reset, what gives the ability for this thing to recover to the levels that it was before? Because
number one, when I look at it, is Theta Gem at one point this year got up to $19.46. It's currently at 80 cents.
Wow. That's amazing.
So think about this. When it was at its height, it got up to almost $20. Now, things need to settle themselves out and other competition comes out and all that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, it's still a leading coin in what it does. So when it falls that much, those things always have the runs up. So when it hit $19.46, the coin's just getting started.
Yeah. That's
the potential of it when it's just getting started, let alone everything else. So when I buy something I think I bought this one at like $1.04 and it's down to 80 cents, you know, but so anything that was $19 and is now 80 cents, that's a buy to be given the fact of the utility of it. I know is being used and is going to continue to be used as probably one of the number 1 utilities or tokens for what they do.
Sure.
In a space that is just getting started right now. Like last year were NFTs, now it's gaming. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So that's why it's got the most. Now, yeah, man. When I first was reading about it, it's funny because the guy who was telling me about it was like, just so you know, be warned, it has an 85% downside risk. Well, it went down 80%. So I mean, he was pretty close to that, right? And the other one, the Define a token, that one at one point this year was at $8.51, and now that's at 38 cents.
Wow.
Same thing, same reasons. They're just getting started. So one can hit $19 and one can hit over $8 and just getting started. And now one's what, 90 cents or 80 cents and one's 30 cents.
Wow.
So am I taking all of my money and buying it? No, but I'm buying 1,000 here, 1,000 there. And he drops down another 20%. I'll buy 1,000. Dude, I hope it goes down to 20 cents.
I just think it's got to be, have the confidence has to be there for somebody.
It does. And don't get me wrong, this is not like 100%. There's no strategy that I can tell you right now on these coins that says, well, here's how you play it safe and here's how you do risk loss. And like, dude, you're taking a risk and a chance, but I'm not taking all of my money. Number one, but I'm probably sticking more money into it than I should, just because I know the upside to me far outweighs the risk.
Right.
Far outweighs the risk.
Right.
You know,
so let's do this. So we'll wrap this up today. We've been at it for about 20 minutes, and I just want to say, you know, we're going to have this as a weekly show. Simple Crypto, we're going to be on here every Thursday. And, we'll talk more. We'll have more articles, and we'll talk more about what some of the cryptocurrencies that maybe on a week-to-week basis that you would invest into and why. So you have anything else to say, Brett?
No, just keep on keeping on, man. Simple Crypto.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
Thanks, everyone.
Talk to you then.
Hi, I'm a realtor.